All right, hey Mr. Chavez, this is Louis Lozano here, coming at you with another with a video here. So I've decided that because this is all so complicated, because there's so many variables, I am not gonna try to design this on my own. Um, I'm just gonna teach you what you need to know to design this, and hopefully you'll be able to do a better job and know what you'll need. So I'm going to give you the real basics of electricity and this motor here that we're going to be using, and you should be able to figure it out. If you have any questions, you can ask me. But I'm not going to teach you anything about it, not even the basics of electricity. So this is basically it. This is all you need, what you see on the screen right here. This is right here is the motor. This is what causes your vibration. This is pretty much what they all look like, so you can't mistake it. Yeah. So this is really all you need. You need a battery, 2 wires, and your motor. And when you set it up like this, your motor will start spinning. And if you buy a vibration motor, then yeah, it'll just buzz. That's it. That's as simple as it gets. You have this connection. You get a wire at the positive end of the battery, a wire at the negative end of the battery connected to your motor, and you're off to the races. Now, just to explain a little bit about you wanted to make it a like a touch activated kind of a thing. Let's see here. All right, I'm gonna use a button for this example. Okay, so basically, in order for the battery to power this motor, electricity has to have a path going to the motor. It goes in the motor, and it has to come out. It has to flow. Basically, like the good energy comes in here, it gets used by the motor, and then useless energy comes out. And this is basically like the exhaust in a car. Gasoline goes in, gets used, and the exhaust comes out. But it has to go back to the battery. Okay. Now, if you disconnect the exhaust port, dang it. Let me see. If you disconnect the exhaust side or the negative side, if you disconnect it, then the exhaust has nowhere to go and it can't reach the end of the battery, so it won't work. And so what we need to do here, so in basic sense, in order to get this a touch, to activate on touch, you're going to want to put the positive wire here, connect it to, and it really doesn't matter which side. So your motor's going to come in, and you're going to see these 2 little doohickeys right here, and there's no right or wrong way. You can plug either side into either side. It doesn't matter. So so you can set it up like this. Your battery gets connected by a wire to your motor. You have a wire here that stops here and a wire here that stops here. Then you got a little kid who comes with his finger, touches this wire, pushes it into this one. All of a sudden, guess what? The exhaust is connected, and you are good to go. All of a sudden, your motor's vibrating. The kid untouches the wire. Ah, dang it! Now we got him connected. The kid untouches the wire, and the motor stops running. The wire separates again. Here's a rule for this is you always, if you're going to do something like this, you always have to have this, one, you can't have any exposed wire. That's just dangerous in general. But you always want to use the negative side, because this is just the exhaust energy and it can't really shock you. So this side is the good energy, right? You don't want to leave this break here, because when the kid pushes, if this was on this side and he were to push this wire, this is the good energy flowing. It would flow right into his finger and he'd get shocked. So You don't want to use the bad energy side. You know, the minus sign is the bad energy side, plus sign is the good energy side. Every battery in existence has it. So as long as you know that the disconnect is connected to the negative side, you're dandy. Bad energy can't hurt you. So the kid's gonna come with his finger, push. You can put like a little pad here, and just leave this one there. That way, when he pushes it, connects it, and bzzz. All right, cool. Now, if you want to get fancier with it, you can use a button like this. Let me see, rotate counterclockwise. There we go. So you put the button here, and it basically does it for you. Actually, that's really all a button is. Dang it, why can't I grab this? All right, that's all a button is. So this button is going to keep these two separated until you click it, and then when you click it, it's going to make the motor buzz. You can get a really sensitive button and like cover it with like a piece of cloth or whatever you want to cover it with. That way, when they touch it or barely tap it, it'll start to buzz. They also make touch sensors. You can, and so all the sensors are basically just buttons. Touch sensors will do the same thing. Keeps it separated until it gets touched. You have pressure sensors that you can do the same thing with. But pressure sensors would be more if you're like trying to use someone's body weight to trigger something. But you can use a pressure sensor, you can use a touch sensor, you can use a very like sensitive button, or you can, if you want to do it like, you know, real quick on the cheap, you can just cover one side of the wire. You just have to make sure that the wires touch, the bare wires touch, and then the motor will go. All right, so that's all you need to know about this circuit. So in essence, you just need to get your wires to be almost touching, and then when a kid touches it, bzzz, it'll vibrate. Alright, so now let's talk about your kinds of vibration, the kinds of motors. Your motors are classified in, let me see if I can just do this. Your motors are classified in RPMs and volts, right? So this is rotations per minute. This is how fast the motor is going to spin, and the volts is how big the motor is. So more volts means bigger battery, but also means stronger vibration. It means like it's the difference between like the vibration in your phone, you know, real bzz, 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 and the vibration in your like video game controller. That's real like rumbly. Actually, if you have, yeah, that's beside the point. Okay, so all motors have a rated RPM. So they'll say like, let me see if I can pull it up here. Vibration motor. Right, so here we go. So this one's got 6,200 RPM, 12 volts. It's a pretty substantial motor. So that means in 1 minute it's going to turn 6,200 times. That's going to give you one heck of a vibration for sure. But here's some more. These are a lot smaller. Let me see what else. We have 5 volts, 3,200 RPM. It's a mini vibration motor. And see, so this is what makes it vibrate right here. This little half circle. The motor spins. This little half circle makes it unbalanced. And when it spins, it makes the motor want to shake, and it shakes the motor in place, and it causes everything to vibrate. And because it's moving so fast, the motor stays basically still and just vibrates like mad. So the more buzzy you want it to be, the higher RPMs, which is what I think you want. I think you want really high RPMs. Now, this says 5 volts at 3,200 RPMs. If you buy the motor and it's not as high as you want it to be, you can always put a bigger battery on it. Even though it's not rated for it, not a problem usually. As long as you don't like put a car battery on it, you should be fine. Check with me. If you're gonna do, if you buy a motor and it's not as vibraty as you want it, check with me. I'll help you out. So yeah, this is a pretty violent vibration. You might want to check this one out. See, and this one already comes with your wires. So it's got the vibrator in this black box. it's got your 2 wires, and so all you really need is your battery, the 2 wires coming out. And so this black box actually contains one of these in it, so you don't have to worry about housing it. So there's just options, and that's basically it. So when it comes to volts, is just how powerful the vibration is, right? Like whether it's gonna shake your entire sign. High volts means, you know, if you get something like 48 volts, that thing is gonna vibrate your entire sign. If you get something that's 5 volts, it might vibrate just a little section of your sign. Your rotations per minute is how violent, or how, you know, vibratey that that is. The higher rotations per minute, the more vibration, the more small, like buzzing sound. Less rotations per minute is going to be just less of that. So if you've got any questions, let me know, and that's where I'm going to end here. All right, buddy. Thanks.